Alright guys, how's it going? It is Saturday. I thought I'd make a video for you guys. Saturday night streaming. I don't know if I'm up for it tonight, guys. I've got to be honest with you because the game finishes very late for me. Obviously, I'm 1 hour ahead of most of you guys in the UK. So it's going to be like 11 o'clock until we get the stream going properly. And I think traditionally when Liverpool play in an evening like that, it's a quiet night. So I don't know. I'm undecided, to be honest with you. Tomorrow obviously is the cup final, and Ken, you guys will have heard me mention Ken before, the Newcastle fan. He's going out for a few sherbets tomorrow, and I thought, shall I go and watch the game? With them. Can't do that if I'm hungover. I don't know. That's not the reason why it's putting me off tonight, to be honest, because the stream gets priority because I love being on here with you guys, definitely. So I'm undecided. I don't know what to do. We'll see. I just think like I want to start at 7:30. Your time 8:30. Yeah, that's all right. I know I can watch the game first with you guys, but I don't know. I just feel like 11 o'clock. Anyway, so how are you doing? You all right? Now I haven't read this article yet. It's James Pearce, and I saw that he put this article out on Twitter, and then he was getting slaughtered in the comments. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the article. I have not read it, all right? It's headlined, Jurgen Klopp admits Liverpool need financial boost of Champions League qualification. Jurgen Klopp admits Liverpool need the financial boost of Champions League qualification to help their transfer plans as he waits on news of fresh investment into the club. As Rafa would say, for sure. Liverpool are gearing up for a big summer with his squad in serious need of reinforcements after a season when they have drastically fallen off the pace. Klopp's men find themselves 7 points adrift of fourth place Tottenham with 2 games in hand ahead of Saturday's trip to Palace. Asked if missing out on the Champions League would impact his transfer budget, Klopp said it's not helpful. Money always has an impact. Now, it's not helpful means not qualifying for the Champions League top 4. Money always has an impact, but this cannot be that much of an impact. Let me say it like this: of course, it is influential, but this is a summer where we have to be in the market, definitely. So he's saying we need to spend, definitely. I'm sorry that we cannot guarantee the Champions League at this moment, but it's not done yet. We will fight for it, so we don't have to talk about it as though it is not possible, but it is tricky and difficult, and if we qualify, it will be a late decision, I guess. We have to start doing work earlier than before, so we know where we will end up position-wise and European competition-wise, so these things are clear here. Principal owner John W. Henry confirmed this week that Fenway Sports Group are in discussions with interested parties about buying a minority stake in the club. Well, you already know about that, we've gone over it. Going back to Jurgen, asked about the possibility of new investment before the summer and how significantly that could influence the club's plans, Klopp said, I am optimistic when Henry, is optimistic because it is his business. I am not involved in the search for investors, not yet. That would be funny. I can be, by the way. I did think that at Dortmund once. My job is to make it 100% clear that what we need from a sports point of view, and then other people are responsible for giving us the resources or whatever. I have nothing to do with that. I think we've played 5 years in a row in the Champions League, which is massive. And we went to the final 3 times in that time, which is massive from a money point of view. We built a stand and a training ground, and the club is in a really good place. But around us, a few people are speeding up a little bit, and you cannot ignore that. It's still about finding the right players. It's not about bringing in a lot. And thank God in the world of football, there are a lot of right players. Not all of them are affordable or want to come, but there are a lot of really good players out there. The only reason I don't like to talk too much about it now is because there are a lot of games to play. You always ask about transfers, but this team is the basis for what we do. And even now, when people are in the mood, he should go, he can go. My God, calm down, please. Have a look. Go on YouTube and remind yourselves that is what we did. He threw his heart and soul onto the pitch. That doesn't mean we have to be thankful to him for the rest of his life, but that it's still in there. So let's make a decision at the end of the season. And while we are together, let's support this group together with me, all we have. This is all I am asking for, to be honest. Klopp insists the process of identifying transfer targets hasn't changed since sporting director Michael Edwards left the club nearly a year ago, and he's adamant he hasn't become more influential in recruitment. I've always had the same say. I cannot decide at all about money, not about one penny. It is always the same. The old school managers maybe had a budget and could work with that. It is not like this, he said. Right, so that's basically the article that James Pearce wrote. It finishes by saying Liverpool are next in action against Palace at Selhurst Park tomorrow. So that's the article. I don't know if you've seen that already or not or whatnot. And we'll go back to the headline. Jurgen Klopp admits Liverpool need financial boost of Champions League qualification. Okay, that's the headline. So I've only just read that now for the first time with you guys. Now, when he put that out on Twitter yesterday, let me mark up. Did I put me sweetener in? Yeah, I think I did actually. Otherwise, it'd be too strong. We're going to look at the comments now on Twitter and see if you agree with them, having just heard what the manager manager was actually saying, right? So, these are the comments, right? So someone's replied, "This is why he doesn't answer your questions, James." Someone's put, "Twisted that for me, like he contradicts that by going on to say, but we have qualified for the last 5 and 3 of them as finally shouldn't impact as much, and it's clear we need to do something." Someone's reply put, "No, he also said even if they don't get Champions League, FSG need to back his rebuild." Having seen the interview in its entirety, while highlighting its usual importance, the inference he made was that we really need to spend regardless of whether we are in the CL or not. I hope for the sake of FSG that they aren't trying to spin that a lack of CL will drive what they do. Someone's put, "James must have gotten a call from his overlord in Boston. Everybody should know what is coming in the summer. FSG will refuse to do what is needed. If they do, Klopp should put himself first and walk away. FSG far too friendly with certain journalists." Someone's put, "Stop it. They are putting you in a tough position. As fans, we know even winning the CL doesn't lead to funds to spend." Someone's put loads of ha-ha-ha-has and put, "Oh man, so convenient. How come we didn't do all that investment last summer, I wonder." James, you've become a shameless man, like really. Mate, take a day off. He said a lack of CL shouldn't and can't affect the summer window. He said that we need to spend to match other teams, and that is the headline you go with. How much are FSG paying you, mate? Somebody else has put, "Twisted that," basically saying that he's. I think the point I'm making is a lot of people seem to think that. Someone's put, "Be silent, little sad man." I think that James Pearce. Someone's replied to James Pearce saying, "Clickbait, bollocks, James. Wise up." I'm not going to read what that says about James Pearce, but someone's saying this FSG bootlicker, just stay out of it. Someone's put, "Wow, way to twist that. No wonder he thinks you're imagine something on your head here." So that was yesterday's tweet. So when I saw that last night, I was like, "Oh, I've got to read this article," which I would do anyway. But he's put the same article out in the last 30 minutes on Twitter. So we're going to look at those comments now. How have you got that headline from those quotes? Never heard so much rubbish. Someone put, "Yeah, he said this, you absolute clown," and they've included a screenshot of James Pearce previously saying, "No sagas to resolve, no glaring gaps to fill, no scattergun recruitment drive, no expensive deadwood to shift. Klopp's Liverpool are in a decent shape as they prepare for Asia tour." Someone's put, "Weren't you the clown who was against spending?" Someone's put, "Talk about twisting Klopp's words. No wonder he won't speak to you. Shouldn't the headline be that Klopp demands FSG to spend this summer?" So I think you get the general gist of what people think there. I'm not like just picking out the I Right, let me rephrase that. I did just pick out the comments that are saying that he's spun that. Most of them are going along that lines, but there's no point reading out every comment to you. The point I'm trying to say to you is, like, there is obviously a feeling there that he has spun that a little bit. And, you know, why is a journalist, James Pearce or anyone else, not actually writing, you know, a headline that is putting the owners under pressure? So like that, whoever that was there, that last comment there, the actual headline should be FSG, Jurgen demands FSG to spend this summer. So, and I've noticed in the last few days, you know, sorry, I'm getting a message on my, it's my watch saying, how are you feeling, stress management? I'm going to go with frustrated. When it detects a change in things, it asks you how you're doing. I've noticed in the last few days quite a few articles, you know, from that clique of Liverpool journalists. I don't know if you can hear that, Remy's chewing a bone out there. Quite a few journalists writing articles that, well, like that really. And the manager, like, to me is, like, I genuinely, I don't like to single out journalists and that, you know, and it's nothing against James Pearce, you know, nothing against that, but when, like, an article like that clearly is. I do think that people are being, I think people, you know, there's quite a few fans there, right, that are saying, hang on, James, how have you come up with that headline when that isn't what the manager was really saying? So Jurgen Klopp admits Liverpool need financial boost of Champions League qualification. Yeah, you know, a lot of people, what was the other headline that lad said? Shouldn't the headline be Klopp demands FSG to spend this summer? And it's kind of like, maybe there's not many, you know, too much of a difference between it, but the headline is kind of saying, like, you know, it's more or less putting blame on the manager, I think, like, because if you don't qualify, you know, if you don't get top four, then you haven't qualified for the Champions League, let's say. And, you know, who's to blame for that? You know, a lot of people say, well, it's the manager's fault. You know, the players, you know, I would argue that the manager can only do, you know, perform with what he's got. Being me, I don't know if this is because I'm a supporter or maybe my own opinions are clouding it, but I would have gone along the lines of Jurgen demands more investment. But then that puts the owners under pressure. So if things don't work out, it's them to blame. And I don't care what anyone thinks here, really. You can't deny that headline gives the impression that James Pearce is doing the owners a favour with the way he's writing the headlines. And this is the bit that I don't understand. Now, James Pearce has come under quite a bit of criticism recently. And obviously you had that where Jurgen kicked off with him at the press conference. Maybe James Pearce is just sick of everyone at the moment and he's just thinking, oh, I'm writing this, whatever. I kind of don't get it. I don't get it. The biggest, like, complaint or observation, maybe for me, is that these journalists, this clique of journalists that write only about Liverpool Football Club, they all have the same opinions, and I don't understand that. Like, there's no one that challenges any of it. There isn't anyone that would write a headline saying Jurgen Klopp demands more, you know, investment, or you could, maybe that's too aggressive. Maybe you could put Jurgen Klopp warns of, you know, I don't know. I just thought that you guys might find it of interest if you haven't seen that article. Now, I started recording this video before I'd even seen it myself because I saw the comments and I wanted to ask you guys, because James Pearce comes up quite a bit in conversation, I wanted to ask you guys, right guys, this is what people are saying out there. James Pearce has wrote an article, he's wrote this headline, and the feedback is, you've spun it, you've twisted it, your headline's wrong, it should be this. So I want to ask you, that's what I'm doing right now, are those people right? Or are they, do you understand? I would say, having read those quotes there, I don't know, you see, I would have personally, I would be more focusing on the headline as putting pressure on the owners. I feel like that's putting pressure on Jurgen, but maybe I'm biased, you know, maybe I'm biased because I obviously do want the club to be sold. But whether you guys believe me or not, you know, I really do try to be fair. and that's why I try and be transparent. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm going to leave it to you guys to decide whether those people are right to say that James Pearce spun that in a totally different way. There's people there saying, James, how, like, they're not like going mental. There's some people saying nasty things to him, but there's people there saying, James, how have you spun that into that headline? And why? I mean, like, why? Well, we know why. But you know what? Well, in my opinion, I think that these journalists daren't say anything in case they lose their access, which is a shocking state of journalism, really. We need more independent people to do that. But how do they make the revenue, I don't know. I mean, like, if James Pearce, for example, didn't work for The Athletic and only ran his own blog or something like that, would he equal his income that he would get from The Athletic? And could he be more truthful? Or is he then naffed anyway because he wouldn't get the access, would he? No. Yeah, it's a strange one, really. It's a shame because maybe some of you guys don't get it or have never seen any different. It'll depend on your age. But like the Liverpool Echo, for example, back in the 90s, when I first started doing this, was great, and there would old owners, or well, the owner or the chairman. We didn't even refer to an owner; it'd be the chairman or the board or the manager. They would ask questions that were like, I wouldn't say like they didn't deliberately try to stir it, but they would ask difficult questions when the time arose when they needed to do that. And I feel like today that nobody does that. You might get the former pundits, maybe not the ones linked to Liverpool, but of other clubs that will go on, your Sky Sports or whatever and saying, these are the questions I'd be asking, but they're never going to get the access and their income probably doesn't rely on it. But anyway, that was it. I just saw it last night and I thought, oh, is it fair? Is it fair? Are those people being fair with the responses to James Pearce? Or are they wrong? And he's done nothing wrong because he said that he said a true statement about needing the money from the Champions League qualification. I guess those of you that are anti-FSG will say James Pearce is wrong. Those of you that are maybe not anti-FSG might say there's nothing wrong with it. So it'd be really nice if someone could hand on heart say, actually, I'm not going to, use this as an excuse to cosh someone for the sake of doing so. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, how are you doing? You all right, yeah? So it's a lovely day here. It's nice and sunny. Thanks to those of you that came and connected on here on Thursday night. I had a few sherbets with Steve on Thursday and I went live when I got in. It was a bit of a giggle. It was all right. So yeah, I'd like to do the stream tonight. I really would. But that's a late finish, that game. It's a late start for me, 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. I'm not really sure about that, so we shall see. I am really behind on my emails and things like that. If I owe you a postcard or I haven't put your name in the video description below, if you've supported me recently on that Let's Make KopTalk TV great again, please read the video description. If your name's not in there, you must email me because honestly, you know what I'm like. It takes me forever to get caught up on stuff. Dunk, D-U-N-K, at KopTalk.com. If I owe you a postcard or if I haven't put your name on that list. I haven't got my postcards here. I like to send my DKB postcards out to people that support me and stuff like that. It's just a bit of fun, really. And I did send some last time from England, and a couple of them didn't get. One was to Ireland, one was to England. So I don't know. So just remind me because I forget. I know I owe a postcard to Ryan, so I need to find his email. I'm sure I've got his address. So I just need to remember, if you ever email me or inbox me or whatever, please don't think it's rude not chasing me up. Please email me every single day until I do what I'm supposed to do, because your email comes in and I think, right, I must deal with that. And then by the end of the day, I forgot. And then it's a new day. So you must always, always, always please hound me. Okay then, so I'll leave you with that. Let me know what you think. Did James Pearce spin that? And like I say, since John Henry commented about potential minor investment, not saying he's not selling Liverpool at that particular moment when he said that, I've noticed that it kind of some of these journalists in that clique have appeared again, you know, and they've started being a bit pro FSG again, and it's really it's really strange to me because I see that pattern and I haven't had time to think about it yet. I've seen another one on Twitter today that's having a dig at people, and I just think, why? Like, what's that all about? Is it like, I don't know. Have I got my tin hat on here? Have them journalists, right? Because they've been quiet, I think, for a few weeks, right? While we've been speculating, like all these claims are made about Qatar and stuff like that previously, right? And these journalists were not saying anything. And now, since FSG, John Henry of FSG has commented and given an update, which suggests that they will not be leaving, right? Which might be the case. Since John Henry's done that, it's like these lot have all come out again with examples like that, I think. That sounds a bit, you know, it's not really going for FSG. It's not. There's not one person come out and said to those comments and gone, oh, you know, FSG, you know, we need a change, right? The fans want a change. Not one journalist is even writing someone else's opinion. Think of it like that. So maybe they don't want to get involved. But why is it not like at a time when the fan base is, you know, seems really like, would like to see a change? Nobody's even daring to say that. So it's like they've all gone, oh, it looks like they're hanging around, so we better stay on side. Do you know what I mean? Because they were all quiet. And in the last week or the last few days, I've seen them all springing up again. And they're all saying these things that would be, if you were John Henry reading that in the newspaper, you'd go, oh, he's all right, yeah, that's fine. Or maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't think I am, though. I genuinely don't think I am. I'm not biased. I swear down, I'm not biased. That's why I always try to be transparent with my feelings, so you guys know. I mean, long-time people that have watched my videos for years know that. You know how I feel about certain issues. But maybe new people would be like, well, I don't know, it's just important that people know your true opinions before you start running your mouth about stuff. I got nothing against James Pearce, nothing, not any of them journalists. I don't agree with the way that they... I get disappointed when journalists that have got clout, have got an audience, can't relay what everything seems to be. Now, you could argue, there's people in certain groups will say, well, the people on the internet are mental. Well, I'm going to say it, and it's funny, but I've been here for 25 years. So if anybody has got the right to an opinion to do with fans on the internet, I think that's me, because I've interacted with Liverpool supporters online for all that time, and good and bad. And if you're going to turn around and say, well, yeah, the fan base excludes everyone online, I'm not quite sure how that works out. We know that on Twitter, for example, right, that there is a lot of people that maybe say silly things and stuff like that. But I do think it's an age thing as well. I do, honestly, because, when you read, you see a username and it then might say something silly underneath. You don't know who that person is. It could be a 16-year-old, 15-year-old kid. I'm not digging you if you're 15, 16. I'm just saying maybe someone has a different... Maybe someone doesn't get certain things that maybe an old boy like me does, I don't know, that sounds like I'm patronising or being awful to young'uns, and I'm not. I'm just saying that, there's some people that are a bit scatty, and, I also think it depends on where you come from in the world. And passion, when people are passionate, they maybe say things that they don't really mean sometimes. I always think of these people at the football games that throw a bottle, or, stand on the ball, go kick a player or run the mouse and that. Like, would it be like that in normal society walking around? I don't think so. I think it's passion, and it's I know you can't excuse it, but people tend to lose the plot when they're desperate. So you can't... I genuinely feel that the fan base, the majority of the fan base, would prefer a change in ownership, but I can't back that up. I can't prove that. But I listen to fans offline and I listen to fans online, and in my opinion, the majority seem to favour a change of an ownership, But then you get them little, you know what they are. There's certain types out there that say you can't, you've got to exclude people on the internet. Well, that includes everybody watching this video. Then that includes me. I use Twitter. I use Facebook. Really, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Other people, right? Well, has he spun that to make it sound? Has he done it on purpose? Is it true, the headline? Does it make the manager? Does it seem like the pressure's more on the manager? Is it to do with the little ding dong that them two have got going? You know, allegedly, is James like thinking, well, I'm not going to call out the owners because that's helping you, and you just made me look an idiot the other week? I don't think James Pearce would do that, would he? I don't know. I can't get my head round it, and I can't get my head round that click, like I said, that have all surfaced since joining his comments, and they're all following that particular style of writing again. It's mental. Right, I'm off. Not a very good video, I don't think, but I wanted to raise it with you. What day is it? Saturday. Listen, it's Saturday today, and on Monday I'm getting back on that L style kick, guys. You know what I'm saying? I lost all that weight, and I lost a lot of weight. I was 167 kilos, and I got down to 98 kilos the week the pandemic started, and then we had that lockdown out here in Spain, which is one of the strictest in the world. And I've never been able to get back on it since then. It kind of threw me off. So I was 98, and then I got up to 122, and that's where I'm hovering at the minute, and that's just not acceptable. So this weekend's going to be my last, I'm going to have fish and chips today, I think, and there'll be no cider after the weekend. We'll be back on the vodka, I guess, permanently. I don't know. I tore this tea bag in half and it's gone everywhere. What a mess. So yeah, this weekend's my last free for all. I'm gonna have a nice Sunday dinner tomorrow. Got a lovely chicken in. Gonna do Yorkshire puddings, roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, gravy, all that. And then that'll be it. Monday we'll be back on the old keto, doing the low carb thing. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sure you don't want to know about all that. Right, all right, guys. Speak to you a bit. All right.